Hello everybody, Surat here, and yes, what you see before you is Murder by Numbers, game that came out fairly recently, 2018 I believe was the date. It doesn't say on screen, sadly, but it features artwork by Hato, who did Hatoful Boyfriend, that I'm pretty sure many of you know. And the music may sound very, very familiar to a great many of you because it is composed by the same person that composed a great deal of the first couple of the Ace Attorney games, whose name escapes me at the moment. However, I will not be doing this alone, as you probably see down in the title screen for this one. I have brought someone else on board to share in this experience for the first time because, well, I streamed this. I streamed this entire game, as I'm sure all 5 of you who watch that know. But I have brought someone on board who's experiencing this entire game for the first time. And now, because of the way this likes to work... Come on. There we go. That should be working just fine now. So, say hello to DorkPrincess.
Good morrow, everybody! I need to adjust my settings because this is kind of loud for me, and it's loading, which is a great start.
Loading, huh?
This will be fine. We won't need to start over. I don't need a solid, like, word minute of silence again.
Well, hang on, because it's saying the stream is running. And, okay, I believe we have our technology issues sorted. So, once again, welcome in DorkPrincess.
Hi, I'm on my phone now, F me!
Yeah, apparently the Wi-Fi kinda laughed at our ability to actually stream this game.
My Wi-Fi is terrible.
You need to shoot your Wi-Fi and get a wired connection. Anyway. So, Murder by Numbers. If you are unfamiliar with the concept of the game that is picross, don't worry, this game will go into it in detail in a minute. But basically, it's a visual novel that has several murder mystery cases with the vibe of a 1990s PBS educational kids show.
That explains the shirt.
Yes, it does.
And the intro.
And the intro, yes.
But
it's got that vibe completely going on.
It was a lot more upbeat than I expected it to be.
Especially with the lyrics in there. I don't know if you caught all the lyrics, but it's like there's one line that, and murder's never far away. You know, it's like...
I didn't catch that. I got on my honor, I'll be your scout or whatever, which was clever because those are their names, haha.
So anyway, I don't think we are going to do full voice work with this game because there's a lot of talking. And there are only 2 of us and there are way too many characters.
Yeah, we can always do what we did in Thousand Year Door and just go completely off the rails.
Yeah, we can always just, everybody becomes X-Nauts. So anyway.
Yes. For those of you who don't get that reference, look up DorkPrincess HLC. We're currently like in a playthrough of like Thousand Year Door. I, and like her and her boyfriend Lantern.
Yes. And which, if you've been paying attention to the channel, you know DorkPrincess HLC and Lantern were both in a Let's Play on this channel not too long ago for Super Mario RPG, which I believe people are still yelling at me about. But anyway, that's enough talking over a still image of Honor and Scout here.
Yes.
So let's actually get started.
Get on with it.
You notice we start out with the rating of F. As we pass the puzzles, that rating will go up. And if we solve every puzzle perfectly, we get an S.
Nice.
It's largely meaningless unless you really want to dive into Scout's backstory. But anyway, let's get started.
Cat interruptions. Excellent start. 712 my cat enters the room, which has been like reorganized. So he's probably gonna like be like, "What's this thing over here?" That's a shelf, but in a different position.
Sadly, there is no New Game Plus.
I don't care. I hate when there's stuff after the main story. It's like, but I was gonna start all over! I like the, like, circle-y thing it's doing.
Basically, what you were looking at was text printing out on an old-fashioned CRT monitor.
I thought that was cool.
So, here we go. The basics of image reconstruction, aka picross, are simple. By filling in certain squares, a picture appears. The clues on the side of the grid will tell you which squares to fill in. Once you fill in the right squares, you complete the image. See how this row has 5? That means 5 interconnected squares should be filled in. Since there are only 5 squares, that means you've got to fill in all 5 of them to make that number work. I don't know if you can see my cursor.
I cannot.
Okay. I'm circling the 5 that's boxed in.
Mm-hmm.
So it wants me to go ahead and fill them all in now, so...
Oh!
So I fill those in, and it said, hey, great, see how the clue went gray? That means you followed the clue properly. It matched. As did, it will bring up in a second, these ones up here. We've also got to mark the squares that must be empty. So it tells us to take a look at this column and how there's only a 1 here. Well, we've got 1 in there, so every other square must be blank. And in game terms, left click marks a square black, right click marks a square with an X.
Clicky clicky the thing, make images. Got it.
Yep. The 5th column also has the same thing. Also makes me kind of worry just a tiny bit because I used to play a game called City of Heroes, which had an enemy called the 5th column, which were Nazis.
Oh god. That's great. That's fun.
So,
I hope it's very obvious that I'm being sarcastic.
So anyway, what we have here is it says this square, or this row has a group of 2 in it, and all we have is a group of 2 because we blocked out all the stuff that cannot be anything. And that is the basics of this. There are many, many little small rules to picross, which you've got to pick up along the way to actually play the hard puzzles and such, much like Sudoku. So, because there's 3 up here, there are already 3. Those are blank. Those are not, because that's a 5.
It's an arrow, I think.
Yes, it is a right arrow.
I am correct.
You are correct, yes.
Yay.
We got 1 more of these.
I am so smart. I am so smart. SMRT, I mean SMART.
This one is a little bit more tricky because it doesn't have any 5s to automatically fill in any spaces, but still it's not that difficult. A really useful technique called overlapping. This row has 4 squares that are connected, which, 4 means 4 squares that have to line up. So if you think about it, it's going to point out that means you can either have the first 4 filled in or the last 4 filled in. Either way, the 3 in the middle are going to be filled in, no matter which position that's in.
Otherwise, the column will explode and you'll have to start all over.
Something like that, yeah.
I was joking.
And so if we see a 3 on like this, notice that no matter where these 3 are, the one in the middle is filled in. And now we get to another thing where you have multiple numbers next to a row or column. That means there is a group of the first one, then followed up by a group of the second one. In other words, 3 and then 1. Between these two, there will always be at least one empty spot. So, if you take that empty spot into account, 3 plus 1 is 4, plus the empty spot is 5, that means this row is filled in for us.
Excellent. Way to go.
And it makes me fill out that, so, And we could do some more overlapping on this column. We already know that one of the squares in the 3 is here. So, your 3 could either be these 3 right here or these 3 right here. Either way, this one's filled in.
It seems like in elementary school where they would have you do those process of elimination games.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one thing at the end of RPG where it's like I placed it this in the race, but I was ahead of this person, It's those riddles.
So, it's not going to hold our hand for the rest of this puzzle. The puzzles do not have time limits, so you're never worried about that. But let's just look at the rest of this. This is a 3, and it has to be 3 consecutive. So that has to be like that, because you cannot go back up here. We have a 1 and a 1 that have to have a gap separating them for here. So that takes care of that. That takes care of that. That takes care of that. And you have a dog.
Oh! I was like a weird emo skeleton lady with a pink glowing eye.
Nope, it's a dog.
I see it now.
And that is the tutorial for Murder by Numbers.
I keep thinking it's called Murder by Death. Freaking Lantern.
Yeah, because Lantern keeps bringing up the movie from the 70s.
Use your goddamn pronouns.
So, with the tutorial out of the way, and the intro, and the explanations for how to play Picross, seriously, if you do not understand it by now, look up some more tutorials online, because if you like things like Sudoku and things like that, you would probably enjoy Picross. And they have many, many variants of Picross. There's Pokemon, there's Mario, there's probably one for every major franchise, probably has a Picross game out there somewhere. But, considering, yep, I believe it's time to go ahead and call this a video, and when we come back for the next episode, we will actually begin the story.
Yay! The reason I'm here!
Yeah, the whole reason you're here. You just had to wait an extra 15, 20 minutes to get there.
Not counting technical difficulties.
Yeah, not counting technical difficulties. So anyway.
I'm just sitting here trying to comprehend things.
Yes. So, when we return, we will figure out where Scout, and by Scout, we mean a robot. No, I'm not kidding. We'll figure out why he's in a junk pile. But until then, take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.